Hello students, welcome to Meetu Maths classes. Today in the MCQ series of class 12, I am here with some more MCQs on the topic continuity and differentiability. Students, ये topic कैलकुलस में से है एंड कैलकुलस इज़ अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग ब्रांच ऑफ मैथमेटिक्स. सो काफ़ी मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स इसको लाइक करते हैं और इस टॉपिक पे काफ़ी शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं जिनके आंसर्स आप वेरी क्विकली निकाल सकते हैं. सो लेट्स टेक आवर क्वेश्चंस फॉर टुडे. योर फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज द वैल्यू ऑफ P and Q for which the function defined as sin p plus 1x plus sin x upon x if x is less than 0. Your function is equals to q when x is equals to 0 and your function is equals to square root x plus x square minus root x upon x raised to power 3 by 2 when x is greater than 0. So your function is defined as this and you are given that it is continuous for all x belongs to R. So you have to find the value of P and Q. Now we know that your function is continuous for all x belongs to R on the whole domain. That must imply that your function fx is continuous at x is equals to 0 also because 0 is the break point of the function. तो आप इसी चीज को यूज कर सकते हैं that your fx function is also continuous at x is equals to 0. That must implies that the left hand limit x tends to 0 minus fx is equals to limit x tends to 0 plus fx. Now what is the left hand limit? लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट में आप लिमिटिंग वैल्यू किसकी लेंगे, किस फंक्शन के लेंगे? when x is to the left of 0, your function is defined as sin p plus 1x plus sin x upon x, okay, is equals to limiting value as x tends to 0 to the right of 0. Your function is defined as square root x plus x square minus square root of x upon x raised to power 3 by 2. Now if you substitute your limit directly, you are getting sin 0 is 0, sin 0 is 0, 0 by 0 फॉर्म. तो 0 by 0 फॉर्म आपकी लिमिट्स में आपने 11th क्लास में पढ़ा है. whenever your function is giving you 0 by 0 by direct substitution, आप क्या करते हैं, you are going to use some standard limits और standard limits को यूज करने के लिए आप इन दोनों फंक्शंस को अपने डिनोमिनेटर को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं. सो साइन p प्लस 1x अपॉन x प्लस साइन x अपॉन x. नाउ साइन x अपॉन x व्हेन x टेंड्स टू 0, साइन x अपॉन x विल गिव यू 1. सिमिलरली अगर आप p प्लस 1x नीचे क्रिएट कर सकते हैं p प्लस 1 से मल्टीप्लाई एंड डिवाइड करके, तो साइन p प्लस 1x अपॉन p प्लस 1x will also become 0 1. Similarly, now consider this function. If you substitute x is equals to 0 directly in your function, you are getting 0 minus 0, that is 0 by 0 form. तो आप रैशनल फंक्शन में क्या कर सकते हैं, you can factorize, you can rationalize your function, but आप यहाँ पर फैक्टर बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे बिकॉज देयर इज अ कॉमन फैक्टर रूट एक्स. यू कैन टेक रूट एक्स कॉमन. अगर x कॉमन ले लेंगे यू आर लेफ्ट विथ स्क्वायर रूट 1 प्लस एक्स माइनस 1 अपॉन एक्स. x is power 3 by 2 can be written as root x into x. Now root x can be cancelled out. Now by substituting the limit here, you will get p plus 1, this limit will become 1 plus this limit will give you 1 is equals to, now what will you do in this limit? इसको भी आप स्टैंडर्ड लिमिट में चेंज कर सकते हैं. कैसे? now this can be written as, नीचे आप 1 प्लस कर सकते हैं 1 माइनस कर सकते हैं, तो 1 प्लस एक्स रेज टू पावर हाफ minus 1 raised to power half. upon 1 plus x minus 1. तो by using your standard limit, limit x tends to a, x raised to power n minus a raised to power n upon x minus a is equals to n into a raised to power n minus 1. This is your one of your standard limit. तो अगर आप ये वाली लिमिट यूज करते हैं then you will get p plus 2 is equals to half into 1 raised to power half minus 1, but 1 raised to power anything is 1 only. So you will get p is equals to half minus 2, that is minus 3 by 2. So p is equals to minus 3 by 2. So maybe C option may be correct, but आपको q की वैल्यू भी निकालनी है. But q कहाँ से आएगा? Because your function is continuous at x is equals to 0, तो left hand limit और right hand limit must be equals to the value of the function at x is equals to 0. So this must be, this half must also be equals to q. So q will be equals to half. So q is half and p is minus 3 by 2. So your option C is correct. Your next question is, the function fx defined as 1 upon x minus 1 at x is equals to 1. At x is equals to 1, you have to check whether your function is continuous, it has removable discontinuity, it has jump discontinuity, or it has asymptotic discontinuity. तो इस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट पे आपको चेक करना है whether your function is, सबसे पहले आपको अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी चाहिए what is continuous mean. That means if your function is function's left hand limit is equals to right hand limit is equals to the value of the function at that point. अगर ये तीनों इक्वल होते हैं then you will say that your function is continuous at x is equals to 1. Now what do you mean by removable discontinuity? That means your function is discontinuous at this point but it can be removed. So इस टाइप की कंटिन्यूटी क्या, डिसकंटिन्यूटी कब आती है? जब लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट और राइट हैंड लिमिट इक्वल होते हैं. दैट मीन्स योर लिमिटिंग वैल्यू एग्जिस्ट बट दैट इज नॉट इक्वल्स टू द वैल्यू ऑफ द फंक्शन एट दिस पॉइंट. तो आप इस डिसकंटिन्यूटी को रिमूव कैसे करते हैं? आप f1 को इनकी लिमिटिंग वैल्यू जो भी आई है उस वही डिफाइन करके इस डिसकंटिन्यूटी को रिमूव कर सकते हैं. नाउ व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय जंप डिसकंटिन्यूटी? जंप डिसकंटिन्यूटी कब आती है? जब लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट और राइट हैंड लिमिट अनइक्वल होती है. देन देयर विल बी अ जंप इन योर फंक्शन. सो एट दिस पॉइंट देयर इज अ जंप. लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट ये है, राइट हैंड लिमिट ये है, सो देयर इज इट इज कॉल्ड अ जंप डिसकंटिन्यूटी. एंड एसिम्प्टोटिक डिसकंटिन्यूटी किससे कहते हैं? कि जब आपका फंक्शन आपकी लिमिटिंग वैल्यू डिफाइंड ही ना हो. If your limiting value at x tends to 1, any point, in fact we are considering x tends to 1 does not exist. अगर आपकी limiting value exist ही नहीं करती है इस particular point पे, तो then you will say that you have asymptotic discontinuity at x is equals to 1. तो सब हर एक चीज किस पे डिपेंड करती है? लिमिटिंग वैल्यू पे. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू आर गोइंग टू कैलकुलेट द लिमिटिंग वैल्यू ऑफ योर फंक्शन एज x टेंड्स टू 1. सो अगर आप x को 1 की तरफ 1 पुट करेंगे देन यू विल गेट your denominator will approach to 0. So your this limit will does not exists. और अगर आपकी लिमिटिंग वैल्यू एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती दैट इम्प्लाइज योर फंक्शन fx हैज asymptotic discontinuity at x is equals to 1. So your option D is correct. Your next question is, let fx is defined as the determinant of x cube sin x cos x 6 minus 1 0 p square p cube. Where p is a constant, then you have to find the third derivative of your function at x is equals to 0. तो आपको डिटर्मिनेंट का डेरिवेटिव लेने का तरीका पता होना चाहिए। आपका फंक्शन ऐसे डिफाइंड है, एक्स क्यूब साइन एक्स कॉस एक्स 6 माइनस 1 0 पी स्क्वायर पी क्यूब। तो आप जब किसी डिटर्मिनेंट का डेरिवेटिव लेते हैं तो दैट विल बी इक्वल्स टू, आपका जो डेरिवेटिव फंक्शन आता है वो तीन डिटर्मिनेंट्स के सम में आता है। इन द फर्स्ट डिटर्मिनेंट यू आर गोइंग टू डिफरेंशिएट फर्स्ट रो, तो फर्स्ट रो को आप डिफरेंशिएट कर दोगे, देन साइन एक्स का डेरिवेटिव कॉस एक्स का डेरिवेटिव माइनस साइन एक्स, एंड सेकेंड एंड थर्ड रो विल बी एज इट इज। प्लस आप क्या करेंगे, नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू डिफरेंशिएट सेकेंड रो, तो फर्स्ट और थर्ड रो आपकी एज इट इज रहेगी, फर्स्ट एंड थर्ड रो विल बी एज इट इज, and you are going to differentiate second row, and the second row is the whole constants, so their derivatives are 0, and your third row is as it is. Plus in the third determinant you are going to differentiate your third row, the first and second row will remain as it is, 6 minus 1 0, but the derivative of third row, since the third row is also all the three are constants, so their derivatives will be 0. Now if the whole row or the whole column is 0, then the derivative will become 0, and this derivative is also 0, so your derivative function is this only. Now differentiate it again, so second derivative will be, अब इसका डेरिवेटिव लेना है तो आपको फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू आर डिफरेंशिएट फर्स्ट रो, दैट इज 6x माइनस साइन एक्स देन माइनस कॉस एक्स, सेकेंड एंड थर्ड रो एज इट इज, प्लस जब आप सेकेंड रो को डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे यू विल गेट ऑल जीरोस and that determinant will become 0, और थर्ड रो को जब आप डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे तब then all the, since the whole row is of constant, so the derivatives are 0, so this will become 0 0, so you can ignore it. Now differentiate it again, take the third derivative of your function. First of all you are going to differentiate your first row, sin x का डेरिवेटिव cos x का डेरिवेटिव sin x, सेकेंड एंड थर्ड रो एज इट इज, p square p cube. Similarly you are going to take plus second determinant में you are going to differentiate second row, that will become 0, and in the third determinant you are going to differentiate third row, that will become 0, so your third derivative will be this only, this determinant only. Now what you are supposed to find out, you are supposed to find out your third derivative function at x is equals to 0. तो आप x को अब 0 पुट करेंगे, then you will get 6 minus cos 0 is minus 1, sin 0 is 0, 6 minus 1 0, p square and p cube. Since the two rows are identical, so the value of the determinant is 0. So your third derivative at x is equals to 0 is 0, so your option B is correct. Your next question is, the set of all points where the function fx defined as x into modulus x is differentiable. तो आपको आपका फंक्शन गिवन है x modulus x and you have to tell that in which interval your function is differentiable. So first of all you are going to define your function. So your function is defined as x modulus x. Modulus x को आप define कैसे करते हैं? When x is greater than equals to x, आपका modulus x x throw करेगा, and x into x will give you x square, and when x is less than 0 your modulus x will throw minus x, and x into minus x will give you minus x square. Now since the domain is the whole real line and when x is greater than equals to 0, your function is defined as a polynomial function. So it will be differentiable everywhere. The polynomial functions are differentiable everywhere. And for all x strictly less than 0, your function is again defined as a polynomial function. So it will be continuous in this domain also. तो आपको थोड़ा सा डाउट किस पे होता है, एट x इज इक्वल्स टू 0 पे, वेन इट मे बी डिसकंटिन्यूअस एट x इज इक्वल्स टू 0. तो आप इसको चेक करने के लिए आप लेफ्ट हैंड डेरिवेटिव लेंगे पहले. तो लेफ्ट हैंड डेरिवेटिव विल बी लिमिट x टेंड्स टू 0 माइनस एंड द डेरिवेटिव विल बी fx माइनस f0 upon x माइनस 0. This is the definition of left hand derivative and that will be equals to x के left में your function is defined as minus x square, f0 is 0 upon x minus 0 and that will be equals to limit x tends to 0 minus x square upon x will give you minus x, so it will be 0. Now consider right hand derivative. So right hand derivative is limit x tends to 0 plus and the definition is fx minus f0 upon x minus 0. Now to the right of 0, your function definition is x square and that will be equals to x and the limiting value of x is also 0. Since left hand derivative is equals to right hand derivative, that implies your function is differentiable at x is equals to 0 also. आपने तो इसका मतलब to the left of 0 सारे points पे your function is differentiable, to the right of 0 your function is again differentiable. और डिफरेंशिएबिलिटी चेक करने के लिए आप इसका डेरिवेटिव फंक्शन भी निकाल सकते हैं. योर डेरिवेटिव फंक्शन इज एक्स स्क्वायर का डेरिवेटिव 2x एंड द डेरिवेटिव ऑफ माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर इज माइनस 2x. तो यहां पर अगर आप देखते हैं तो डेरिवेटिव एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है, सो योर फंक्शन इज डिफरेंशिएबल एवरीवेयर and at x is equals to 0 your function is also differentiable. So it is differentiable on the whole of its domain and the domain is minus infinity to infinity. So your option A is correct. Your next question is, let fx is defined as x minus modulus x. And then fx is differentiable for all x belongs to R. fx is continuous for all r and not differentiable at x is equals to 0. fx is neither continuous nor differentiable at x is equals to 0 or fx is discontinuous at x is equals to 0. So you are supposed to check your function for continuity and differentiability. So basically first of all you are going to define your function. x minus modulus x को अगर आप डिफाइन करते हैं व्हेन x इज स्ट्रिक्टली ग्रेटर देन 0, या मॉडुलस x विल थ्रो ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू 0 के लिए ले लेते हैं, मॉडुलस x विल थ्रो x ओनली एंड x माइनस x विल गिव यू 0. फॉर x इज लेस देन 0, your modulus x will throw minus x. So x minus x will become x plus x, that will give you 2x. तो अब आप इस फंक्शन की पहले कंटिन्यूटी आप चेक करते हैं. तो कंटिन्यूटी में फॉर ऑल x ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू 0 योर फंक्शन इज डिफाइंड एज अ कांस्टेंट फंक्शन, सो इट विल बी कंटिन्यूअस. एंड फॉर ऑल x less than 0 your function is defined as a polynomial function, so it will be continuous everywhere. तो आपको डाउट थोड़ा सा किस पे होता है, at x is equals to 0 पे. तो at x is equals to 0 लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट आपकी क्या हो जाएगी, लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट इस फंक्शन से आएगी. इस फंक्शन में आप डायरेक्ट सब्स्टिट्यूशन x को 0 करते हैं, देन यू विल गेट 0 and right hand limit will come from this function. So limiting value of this function as x tends to 0 will also be 0. Since left hand limit is equals to right hand limit, that implies continuous at x is equals to 0 also. That means continuous for all x belongs to R. तो ये तो continuous आ गया function. Now we are going to check with differentiability. और differentiability के लिए आप you can take derivative of this function. 0 का derivative 0, 2x का derivative 2. Okay. Now देखो आपका लेफ्ट हैंड में डेरिवेटिव टू द राइट ऑफ 0 योर डेरिवेटिव फंक्शन इज डिफाइंड एवरीवेयर and to the left of 0 your function is defined as a constant function, so which is defined everywhere. तो यहाँ पर भी आपको डाउट थोड़ा सा किस पे होता है, at x is equals to 0 पे आप डिफरेंशिएबिलिटी चेक करेंगे. तो at x is equals to 0 left hand derivative will come from this function. So left hand derivative आपका as x tends to 0 minus will be 0, 2 and right hand derivative is 0. So your left hand derivative is not equals to right hand derivative. That implies your fx is not differentiable at x is equals to 0. तो आपका देखो अब कौन सा ऑप्शन आता है. Differentiable for all x belongs to R. This is incorrect. Continuous for all R but not differentiable at x is equals to 0. Yes, this option is correct. Your next question is, if fx is defined as sine of 4 pi into greatest integer function of pi square x upon 7 plus greatest integer function of x square, where greatest integer function gives you the integer, greatest integer greater than equals to x, then you have to find whether fx is continuous for all x but f dash x does not exist, fx is discontinuous for some x, f double dash x exists for all x, and f dash x first derivative exists but second derivative does not exist for some values of x. So basically you are supposed to find out the derivatives of first derivative and second derivative, and you have to check whether these functions, your function is continuous or discontinuous, whether your first derivative and second derivative exists or not. तो सबसे पहले आप क्या करेंगे, आप अपने फंक्शन को डिफाइन करेंगे. आपका फंक्शन कैसे डिफाइंड है, 4 पाई ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर फंक्शन ऑफ पाई स्क्वायर एक्स अपॉन 7 प्लस ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर फंक्शन ऑफ एक्स का होल स्क्वायर. नाउ देयर इज अ वर्किंग दैट ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर ऑफ एनीथिंग, ये कुछ भी हो, पाई स्क्वायर एक्स विल बी अ कांस्टेंट, इसका ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर फंक्शन जो भी आएगा दैट विल गिव यू एन इंटीजर, और 4 भी एक इंटीजर है और ये भी एक इंटीजर है. दैट मीन्स 4 पाई दिस इज एन इंटीजर, और ये जो साइन ऑफ ये जो इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई हो गया ये, और इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई पर आपका साइन फंक्शन 0 होता है. साइन कब 0 होता है, इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल 0, पाई, 2 पाई, माइनस 2 पाई. सो यू विल गेट साइन ऑफ दिस फंक्शन इज इक्वल्स टू 0. तो ये आपका न्यूमरेटर 0 है, and you are sure that denominator is non-zero because ये जो भी integer आएगा, ये this will be a positive integer and plus 7, so you will get an integer greater than equals to 7. So your denominator function is non-zero. 7 plus greatest integer function of x, this is non-zero and numerator function is 0. So your function is defined as 0. तो आपका function तो defined क्या है, as a constant function. This is fx is equals to 0. तो जब fx 0 है तो first derivative भी 0 है, second derivative भी 0 है. इसी तरह से सारे derivatives आपके 0 ही आएंगे. Now you can try an option. First option is continuous for all x. Exactly, your fx is continuous for all x because it is defined as a constant function. But derivative, first derivative does not exist. No, first derivative is also defined as 0. So option A is incorrect. Second, it is discontinuous at some x. So your fx is defined as a constant function 0. So it is continuous everywhere. So your option B is also incorrect. Now consider option C at double dash x. Second derivative exists for all x. Yes, second derivative exists for all x. For the whole real line, your second derivative is defined as a 0, that is a constant function. So your option C is correct. Just find out whether option D is incorrect or not. First derivative exists. Yes, it exists, but second derivative does not exist for some values of x. So this is incorrect. So your option C is correct. Your next question is, let gx be defined as e raised to power 2x when x is less than 0, e raised to power minus 2x when x is greater than equals to 0. Then gx does not satisfy the condition. आपको बताना है कि gx कौन सी condition satisfy नहीं कर रहा है. Whether it is not मतलब continuous for all x, not differentiable at x is equals to 0, continuous for all x but non-differentiable at x is equals to 1 and minus 1, or none of these. तो सबसे पहले आपको continuity और differentiability चेक करनी है इस function की. So consider your function gx. Your gx is defined as e raised to power 2x when x is less than 0, e raised to power minus 2x when x is greater than equals to 0. So when x is less than 0, your function is defined as exponential function which is continuous everywhere. And when x is greater than equals to 0, your function is defined as again as a exponential function which is continuous everywhere. तो आपको थोड़ा डाउट किस पे है? एट एक्स इज इक्वल्स टू 0 पे. तो एट एक्स इज इक्वल्स टू 0 your left hand limit will come from this function and that is e raised to power 0, that will be equals to 1. And right hand limit आपकी किस function से आएगी? लिमिटिंग वैल्यू as x tends to 0 from this function and e raised to power 0 will again come 1. So left hand limit और right hand limit आपकी equal आएगी. That will imply that it will be continuous at x is equals to 1. So continuous for all x belongs to R. So this will imply that your function is continuous for all x belongs to R. Now discuss about differentiability of this function. So consider the derivative function that is equals to 2 times e raised to power 2x when x is less than 0 and minus 2 times e raised to power minus 2x when x is greater than equals to 0. तो डेरिवेटिव फंक्शन को भी अगर आप देखते हैं, so it is well defined for all x belongs to less than 0 and for all x greater than equals to 0. Your this function derivative function is defined. तो at x is equals to 0 आप चेक करेंगे लेफ्ट हैंड डेरिवेटिव एंड राइट हैंड डेरिवेटिव. तो लेफ्ट हैंड डेरिवेटिव क्या हो जाएगा आपका? लेफ्ट हैंड डेरिवेटिव विल कम 2 इंटू ई रेज टू पावर 0 दैट इज 1, तो 2 आ जाएगा. एंड राइट हैंड डेरिवेटिव एट एक्स इज इक्वल्स टू 0 विल कम फ्रॉम दिस फंक्शन. ई रेज टू पावर 0 will give you 1, so minus 2 into 1 will give you minus 2. So they are not equal. That implies your gx function is not differentiable at x is equals to 0. Now आपको चेक करना है आपका कौन सा ऑप्शन gx does not satisfies the condition. तो आपको देखना है कौन सा ऑप्शन आपका सेटिस्फाई नहीं हो रहा है. फर्स्ट ऑप्शन इज कंटिन्यूअस फॉर ऑल x बिलोंग्स टू r, ये तो सेटिस्फाई हो रहा है. सो दिस इज नॉट द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. it is not differentiable at x is equals to 0. Yes, it is not differentiable, तो ये भी satisfy हो रहा है. तो so this is also not the correct option. It is continuous for all x belongs to R. Yes, and non-differentiable at x is equals to 1 and minus 1. No, it is differentiable at x is equals to 1 and minus 1. So this condition is not satisfied. So your option C is correct. आपको यही पूछा था कि gx function does not satisfy which condition, which option. It is not satisfying this option. So your option C is correct. Your next question is, find the value of a if the function fx defined by fx is equals to 2x minus 1 when x is less than 2, a when x is equals to 2 and x plus 1 when x is greater than 2. If this function is continuous at x is equals to 2, so you are given that your function is continuous at x is equals to 2, then you have to find the value of a. तो अगर आपका function if fx is continuous at x is equals to 2, that must implies that left hand limit must be equals to right hand limit must be equals to the value of the function at x is equals to 2. Now what is left hand limit? Limit x tends to 2 minus fx. And what is right hand limit? Limit x tends to 2 plus fx. And what is f2? f2 is a. So this will give you to the left of 2. Your function is defined as 2x minus 1. To the right of 2, your function is defined as x plus 1. Okay. So अगर आप यहाँ पे 2 रखते हैं, then 2 into 2, 4 minus 1, it will be equals to 3. If you substitute 2 here, 2 plus 1, this will also give you 3. So your value of a is 3. So your option A is correct. Your next question is, if x raised to power y is equals to e raised to power x minus y, then find the dy by dx. So consider your function x raised to power y is equals to e raised to power x minus y. तो आपको डेरिवेटिव निकालना है, y को डिफरेंशिएट करना विद रिस्पेक्ट टू x. बट अगर आप ऑप्शंस देखें, your dy by dx is the function of x only. So first of all, you are going to try to convert your function as y is equals to fx. तो आप log ले सकते हैं both sides. Log of x minus y is equals to log of e raised to power x minus y. तो आपका जो पावर होता है that will come in front of log. So x minus y log is 1. Now y को आप यहाँ पर लेके आएंगे, then it will become this is equals to x and 1 plus log x, y into 1 plus log x. So 1 plus log x can be taken here. Now this will become y as a function of x. Now you can differentiate it. So dy by dx will be equals to, you can use quotient rule here. Denominator function का square, denominator function as it is, into derivative of numerator minus numerator function as it is, derivative of denominator. Okay. So 1 plus log x, x का derivative is 1 minus x, 1 का derivative 0, log x का derivative 1 by x. Now this will also give you 1. So 1 minus 1 will cancel out and your answer of the derivative dy by dx is log x upon 1 plus log x whole square. So your option A is correct. Your next question is, if x is defined as square root of a raised to power sin inverse t and y is defined as square root of a raised to power cos inverse of t, where a is greater than 0 and t is lying between minus 1 to 1. So then you have to find dy by dx. तो आप देख सकते हैं x is a function of t, y is a function of t, so your function is in the form of implicit function. तो dy by dx implicit function के केस में आप कैसे निकालते हैं? dy by dt upon dx by dt. But in that case, your derivative dy by dx will come in terms of t. But अगर आप options check करें, your options is not coming in terms of t. तो आपको t को eliminate करना पड़ेगा सबसे पहले. Now there is a way to eliminate t here. Now your function involves inverse trigonometric function, and in inverse trigonometric functions we know that sin inverse t plus cos inverse t will become pi by 2. तो आप कुछ ऐसा ही करेंगे जिससे ये दो पावर्स ऐड हो जाए. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल consider x is equals to a raised to power sin inverse t. So x square will be a raised to power sin inverse t, and y is square root a raised to power cos inverse t. So y square is equals to a raised to power cos inverse t. Okay. Now we know that. अब देखो आपकी sin inverse t और cos inverse t आपको ऐड करने पर we can eliminate t. और ऐड कब होंगे? Since the suffix are same. अगर इन दोनों को मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया जाए then powers are going to be added. So multiply these two functions. So x square into y square is equals to a raised to power sin inverse t plus cos inverse t. Powers add हो जाएंगी आपकी, and you will get a raised to power pi by 2. Now this will become a function in x and y only. You have eliminated t. Now differentiate it. So using product rule, x square as it is, derivative of y square is 2y into dy by dx, plus y square as it is, derivative of x square is 2x, and derivative of a raised to power pi by 2 is 0. So dy by dx will come out minus 2xy square upon 2x square y. 2 will cancel out, 1x and 1y will cancel out, and you are left with minus y by x. So your option C is correct.